Hi guys, it's Rach. Today I'm going to be doing mini reviews and demonstrations on a whole heap of new makeup that I recently picked up from the drugstore. You'll also be able to see how to create this makeup look because I'm going to do it in the form of a tutorial. I have the new L'Oreal foundation, the Infallible, to try. I also have the Rimmel Wonderful Mascara, some new products from Australis from their limited edition metallic collection. There's also some primers to try and a little bit of the L'Oreal Glam bronze. I'm going to show you how to use that and how that goes on. So if you'd like to see how to get this makeup look and my thoughts and opinions on all those products, then keep watching. Starting off with the base, the first product that I want to talk about was the L'Oreal Paris Skin Perfection Magic Touch Instant Blur. This is one of these pore filling primer type products. This is supposed to be able to be used on its own. It's very thick and very creamy, but when I apply it, I find that it really doesn't give any extra coverage. So for me, it's definitely a under makeup kind of product. It does do a decent job of filling in my pores. And I tend to apply this just in my T-zone, mainly where I have enlarged pores, but I also try and apply it on areas where I have like a little bit of blemishes or some lumps and bumps, just to try and smooth that out a bit and create a more even base for me to apply my foundation over. Overall, I like this product. However, I do think it's a little bit overpriced. If you have Benefit's Professional, then you probably don't need to buy this as well. If you are looking for a more inexpensive alternative, I do think I prefer the Inoxa Skin Perfecting Pore Vanishing Cream. This one is, again, just a drugstore option. It fills in your pores, but it has a tint to it. It's actually orange, which is weird, but when it goes on, I feel like it actually sort of gives me a little bit of coverage, at least for my skin tone. So I feel like it's doing a little bit of a better job, and I just had to drop something because it wouldn't be one of my videos unless I dropped at least one thing. Before I move on to foundation, I wanted to use a little bit of the L'Oreal Paris Glam Bronze Eau de Soleil. This, I believe, can be used both on makeup, under makeup, and in your foundation as well. I'm going to pop a little bit just maybe on my cheeks, almost where I would apply bronzer, blend that in, and then see how my foundation goes over the top of it, and then I might apply a bit more just to deepen the colour. I'm going to start by putting a bit on the top of my cheekbones. As you can see, it's quite pigmented. I might spread that around a little bit. Start just kind of bringing this up around the perimeter of my face. It does blend out really nicely. As you can see, it's scary looking going on, but even for you paler girls, I think that I'm pretty pale myself and I can blend it out quite well. And take a little bit of this and just put it like on the center of my nose again, probably because this is kind of where, if I had a bit of a tan, it would be in this area, bridge of your nose. It gets burnt and tanned quite a bit naturally. To be honest, looking at this in the mirror, I don't love it on my skin on its own. I feel like I've gone a little bit, I don't know, orange looking. I don't know if it's the lighting. I mean, on camera it doesn't look too bad. It actually doesn't really look like much at all. It just looks like I've got a deeper skin tone. But I think this is something that I definitely probably wouldn't just use on its own like that. I think it's going to need some foundation over the top. The foundation that I'm going to be using is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24 Hour Stay Fresh Foundation. I have the shade 130 True Beige. I'm going to pop one pump. One pump is quite a decent amount, and this looks like it's probably slightly lighter than my skin tone as it is now, but then when I went up the next shade, that was way too dark for me, the 140, and then the 145 was lighter than the 140 but more pink, and I'm usually a pink undertone, but this was super pink. So 130 seemed to be sort of neutral. I think I like applying it with my beauty blender the best, so that's what I'm going to do. Just pressing it into the skin. As you can see, that's one pump, one layer, and it gives quite good coverage. It does, I can kind of see it on my skin, but it doesn't feel too heavy. It actually feels quite light, and it seems to, it's not sticky or anything. Like it's almost like it's setting to just a nice demi matte kind of finish to it. I am going to try and build up a little bit more coverage. I'm going to do another pump, and what I'm going to do is actually try mixing a little tiny bit of this Glam Bronze product in there. I just want to see how that goes. I'm just going to put this on some areas where I need a little bit more coverage. Now, I only used a small amount of that Glam bronze, but it didn't seem to really alter the foundation colour as much as I thought it would. So I could probably have used a higher portion, higher percentage of that Glam bronze if you really want to deepen the colour of your foundation. 2 coats of that has given me almost a full coverage look. I can see it on the skin. This is definitely not a no makeup foundation, but it doesn't look cakey or anything like that. It's not a bad look. It's just not one of these foundations that look like skin, if that makes sense. So it's definitely one for those of you who want a decent amount of coverage, who want something that's long wearing, but you know that you're going to be able to see the makeup and people are going to be able to tell that you are wearing makeup, which is totally fine. Foundation's given me pretty much all the coverage I need. I'm just going to put a little bit of my Maybelline Dream Lumi Touch. This is in the shade Light, I believe, 02, Nude, sorry. Just in the inner corners under my eyes a little bit. I haven't used this before, so this will truly be a first impressions. This is the Beige Professional High Definition Finishing Powder that I'm going to test out to set my makeup. It seems to be just sort of your typical finely milled silica powder, which is great for setting your foundation. You just have to be careful if you know that you're going to have flash photography, because these kind of powders, if not applied correctly, give you that, or can give you that white flashback kind of look. So I seem to have lost any bronziness that I kind of had on my cheeks. I think this would probably work well underneath maybe a sheer foundation, but I think for me, particularly if you're going to wear a heavier coverage foundation, this probably works best either mixed into the foundation or on top of the foundation. So that's what I'm going to try now. I probably shouldn't have put any powder, but I kind of kept it to my T-zone, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it won't go too cakey on me. I'm just going to do like the finger thing. I'm just going to put a couple of dots just sort of on the high points of my cheeks. Really using this as a bronzer type product. I might even take my beauty blender just to dab that in. Just taking a bit more, layering that up. I do believe that this is a limited edition product, so if it's something that you want to try, definitely go out and buy it now, because I have a feeling it's not part of the permanent line. Overall, I like this product. I think it's a good way to add natural definition to the face, or you could really like layer it up to get a really bronzed look. I do think it requires a little bit of more extra time, a little bit of extra work than your typical bronzer that you can kind of just grab on a brush, dust it all over your face and go. But if you do really like your liquid and cream products and you want that natural look, then I think this one is worth checking out. Over the top of that, I'm just going to contour with my NYX blush in taupe and my Ray Morris Ultimate Cheekbone brush, just a little bit, just because I don't have naturally defined cheekbones. I'm testing out the Maybelline Brow Drama Dark Brown Sculpting Brow Mascara. Now, this is getting mixed reviews. Some of you guys say that you like it, some of you guys say that you don't like it. It is a unique product. I don't know whether it's supposed to actually be a product that you use on its own, or if it's supposed to be used as a tinted brow gel to set whatever product you put underneath it. I'm finding that a lot of people don't necessarily like it on its own, particularly if you need a little bit more sort of product to get your brows looking the way that you want them. I'm going to give it a go on its own, and I might go back in over the top with some brow product. I just want to see what it does. It's probably not the best time to do this because my brows are a little bit, they need a little bit of work at the moment, but we'll see. Now, one of you guys suggested actually running the product backwards through your brows to get more product out and to give you a thicker look. So that's what I'm going to try, and I'm already seeing that that's actually sort of doing something, at least for the sort of body of my brow. That worked quite well. I'm going to do that again. I'm finding that you are able to be relatively precise. However, it is kind of picking up on some of the stray brow hairs that I need to have waxed. So if your eyebrows are a little bit all over the place, need a tidy up like mine, then this product may not be the easiest to use for you. But it's doing a decent job, and I'm really impressed with the colour. I like that it's cool toned. It's not making my brows look red at all. I'm going to try doing it in this portion of my brow here. This seems like it's going to be a little bit harder. Okay, so that's one brow with it, that's one brow without it. You can see it's definitely done something, and I think that backwards stroking motion definitely helped. So if you've bought this product and you're not really sure, it's not quite working for you, you're not getting enough product out, maybe try that and see how it goes. I don't think that's how I would use it solely. So what I'm going to do on this side, I'm actually going to use a little bit of my brow pencil first and then set it with that. And then I'll just fix this one up. This is my Hourglass Arch Brow Pencil. Okay, so overall thoughts on the brow product. I don't know what they were thinking with this sort of bulbous shape. Maybe I'm missing the point. I think if it had been a little bit smaller, you could have worked with it. But for me, this mainly worked for the larger part of my brow to actually get a defined point. It was kind of impossible with this. I think that this is probably best suited for somebody who wants to set their brow product and maybe finds that clear brow gels make their brows look a bit ashy. This would be good because or a bit grey even. Because it's got the colour in it, you won't have that clear kind of grey over the top look. It has a little bit more of a natural look to it when you set your brow product in place. You can like not get colour on the tip if you just sort of use it lightly, don't press down, and you can still set the hairs at the outer part of your brow in place, and it does seem to hold your brow hairs in place. It sets quite nicely, but I think as a product to use on its own, you can't really do it that way. It's not a dupe for the Benefit Gimme Brow or anything like that. I hadn't really planned what I was going to do for my eyes, but since this is all about testing out new products, I recently picked up the Australis AC Loves Me eyeshadows. These are the metallic finish eyeshadows. I picked up all 3 shades. I'm going to go for the shade that I am least attracted to usually. I'm trying to branch out and expand my horizons when it comes to colour. This is called JZ, and it's kind of like a khaki antique gold greeny shade. These have a really unique texture. They're definitely a cream. They have some glitter in it, but then they also have like a metallic finish base. They've got quite like little bits of chunks in them, but then you can smooth them out. I'm going to go straight on with my finger. I'm just going to apply this to my lid. Only keeping it to the outer part of my mobile lid. As you can see, they are super, super opaque. Building up the colour in the outer portion here. I'm just going to go on with a brush and just sort of smooth that out. My initial impressions of these are that they're pretty great. They seem to go on quite easily. They do have like a decent amount of creaminess to them, so you can smooth them out really easily. They're not choppy at all. They seem to just sort of, yeah, blend and smooth out very, very nicely. Since I've started with this greeny toned base, I am going to take a green coloured eyeshadow. This is Peacock by Smashbox. Just going to take a small amount of this on that same kind of dome brush. I'm going to apply this to the centre of my lid, working towards the inner corner. I don't usually use green, so I want to sort of see how this goes. I'm just using a pencil brush to take more of this cream eyeshadow and run it along the lower lash line. It seems that these definitely apply best with your fingers. I'm having a little bit of difficulty sort of building up that colour, so I might just even take a bit onto my finger and use that. They're also very glittery, so they're not for those of you who are against glitter. If you're a lover of the glitter, then you're going to really enjoy these, but if not, then I'd maybe steer clear. I'm just going to mimic the upper lid by putting that Peacock green colour in the inner corner and blending it into that cream shadow. To blend out the crease, I'm just going to take a fluffy crease brush. This is Sigma's E35 and this Sable eyeshadow from Smashbox. I'm just going to run this through the crease. If this eyeshadow look was pre-planned, you would probably do this step first, but since we're just trying out products and making it up as we go, we're just going to do this now. Using that same shade to blend out the bottom eyeshadow also. I'm tightlining my upper waterline with the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil in Black Fever. I'm also testing out a relatively new mascara. This is the Rimmel Wonderful Mascara with Argan Oil. This has quite a full rubber bristle brush to it. And the mascara formula seems to be quite slippy, quite liquidy. It's not a dry mascara. Overall, not a bad mascara. It gives you quite a defined look, which I find is fairly typical for brushes that are like this one with these really defined rubber bristles. I found it a little bit difficult to apply on my lower lashes just because of the size of the brush being quite large. It was hard to get like right up in close without getting mascara all over my lower lash line. But I do like it. I don't know what the argan oil is really going to do to my lashes because I haven't been using this religiously. I think that I probably would prefer a little bit more volume with my mascara, but I'll continue to use that one and definitely finish it off because it wasn't a bad mascara by any means. Since we have the green going on the eyes, I want to keep the rest of the face quite neutral. I'm going to use my Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in Exposed. This blush is really good for giving you just like a natural looking flush. It's really neutral, and I'm super excited because Tarte is soon going to be available in Australia when Sephora opens in Sydney in December, the 8th of December, guys. Put it in your calendars. Okay, lips. I want to keep it a bit more neutral, so I did purchase the Australis, again, the metallic edition Velourlips lip cream, so I thought I could use one of those. I did pick up all 3 shades. There's a sort of a reddy shade, which is Grandmaster Pash. There's a darker, I think it's supposed to be a little bit winey, but it's really like a neutral brown shade. It's called Riri Wine D. And then we also have Nude Fighters, which is a lighter version of that one there. I think I'm going to go for the deeper shade, the Riri Wine D. These still have that lovely grape scent that is typical to all of the Velourlips. However, the finish underneath the product, the base of the product, has a little bit more of a satin look to it as opposed to the typical flat matte. It still feels matte, it still sets, but it has a kind of sheen to it, and these definitely have some glitter reflex in it. This one in particular has some gold, sort of antique gold reflex to them. It actually kind of matches a little bit the reflex in the cream eyeshadow that we used. So that, guys, is the finished look. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It turned out to be quite autumnal, which wasn't planned, but for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, you're welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing little mini reviews about some of these products. If you'd like to see more reviews of some products that I wasn't able to use because it would have meant doubling up, like I couldn't use 2 foundations and I couldn't use multiple lip products, I will certainly do another one of these videos. I want to demo the Rimmel Provocalypse lip lacquers because I really love the color of this, so I definitely want to use that in a tutorial coming up soon. If you have any further questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them the best that I can. Check out the description box for a list of products used as well as links to all my social media. Come say hi. There's also a link where you can subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any of my future videos. Other than that, I hope you guys are all having an awesome day and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye!